You know, all those words I just used: startups, disruption, innovation, technology. You know who sums it all up, who is considered to be a poster child of all of this? It's Vijay Shekhar Sharma of Paytm, very often called the original unicorn. Having said that, what I can also tell you about Vijay Shekhar Sharma is that he takes it very seriously when he promises something. A promise is a promise, and he promised me an interview, and even though he had to go to Harvard, he delivered on that promise by joining us right here on Startup Central, all the way from Harvard. Vijay Shekhar Sharma, founder of Paytm. Thank you so much for joining us here. First up, I'd like to thank you for making sure you came good on your promise.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here. Obviously, some appointments can take time, but good to be here on ET.
And it's good to have you with us, Vijay Shekhar Sharma. You know, like I said, you're the original poster boy for technology, for startups, innovation, disruption. And, you know, if I could put it rather politely, a lot is resting on your shoulders when it comes to today's economic scenario. When we're looking at adding those additional trillions of dollars to our economy, the Prime Minister keeps talking about a $5 trillion economy. Do you feel that pressure?
I like that there is a lot resting on my shoulders. I personally believe that India's economy is poised for this 5 trillion growth that we are talking, definitely towards that direction. We definitely are going to see a huge amount of consumption, local, domestic, and expansion of economy. Obviously, all these bloom and doom definitely will come on the way. I wish this is the one and only one that we get to see before we reach our key milestone as we are chasing. I do agree that there is a lot on startup technology companies that we are talking about, because number one, we bring in external capital, we bring a lot of outside capital, we bring a lot of efficiency in the business. Incidentally, in India, if you notice, there is a lot that gets wasted. There is a lot that could have converted into economic benefit. We are talking about technology-led support systems and systems that can be built to bring efficiency. And then we are talking about consumption that can, and the governance that can reach every nook and corner of the country thanks to the technology expansion. So I do believe there is a lot that as technology and startups we all can contribute to the economy, and there is definitely a large opportunity. That is why global investors are continuously out there for backing up all these startups.
But you know, there is this talk of a slowdown, gloom, doom. But please allow me to observe this, which is that if the traditional economy is hurting, and we keep hearing all of this, when I look at the startup universe, it's like apni duniya mein, a parallel universe. You know, you talk about how there is deal making of the size that we have never seen before. It's at the highest level, the kind of exuberance that we are seeing. Why is that the case? Why are you guys in a parallel world?
Startup apni duniya mein hai is a truth in a way, because startups run with a global context, and local businesses and business houses run in the extremely local context. Startups have these two cohorts or Venn diagram that we can associate them with, that they are in India and they are also having global peers and global investment. So investment in a startup is more or less a global rationale. Would you invest now in an India, in an economy where there is a technology like this or the business model like this shaping up? Answer is yes. And would you invest with a horizon of a few months or few quarters, or would you invest with a horizon of multiple years forward? So the lucky thing for startups is that investments happen with multi-year forward, and the best thing about India is that multi-year forward, it is the best economy that money can take. And so I would say that yes, startups are in a different world, but they are luckily in bringing capital with a longer horizon, not in a short-term gain only.
But Vijay Shekhar Sharma, it's not like startups, entrepreneurs, unicorns like yourselves can live in isolation. Everything is connected. And let me connect those dots for you from the recent example. We're talking on a day where SoftBank, there are all these reports how SoftBank is going to have to take control of We Work. There's going to be $8 billion that will have to be spent for taking control of We Work. SoftBank is one of your largest investors. Ever since that IPO debacle, there must have been a domino effect. There must have even been an impact on Paytm.
So first of all, startups global anywhere in the world would get impacted thanks to what has happened at WeWork. If not in a commercial sense, at least in a approach to the business they're taking, where they will be far more conservative in terms of the kind of governance that we saw at WeWork, kind of spends that we saw, kind of methods that we saw, things that were allowed or not allowed. So many things at WeWorks are lessons for startups all across the world. That is the most important thing. How the world has changed, I'd say that I think you will see that capital accessibility will definitely be there, because startups have allocated, or the funds have been allocated long before. So we are not talking about an immediate blip, unlike a stock market where these things are in real time. So there is availability of fund for sure. And secondly, what will happen is the valuation. So I think SoftBank Vision Fund traditionally have done valuations which we talk about in this new context of Uber or WeWork, but at the same point of time in private, there are many other companies where there are many other investors that have come. So if the company's valuations or investments are led by many more funds, there is a lot more respect of that from new incremental investors. So I'd say that yes, valuation will correct. At the same point in time, valuations are not the beginning or the end of the universe. These are just for the next round of investment. Ultimately, the true ultimate ambition of a startup remains building a sustainable, growing company, and I'm sure that they continue to do that, and that is what the ambition will be.
Vijay Shekhar Sharma, I'm going to once again ask you, what is the impact on Paytm? You know, SoftBank reset, it's a global reset. How can it escape you and Paytm?
Yeah, so I think luckily in my scenario, this is a very young company, as old as 18, 19 years, where we have gone through a lot of cycles where cost and revenues have matched or mismatched. So especially for Paytm's case, we started this year because we invest for 3 years, and then 3 years we look at the monetization, and then next 3 years we look at for expansion again. So this is the cycle for last 18 years that we've gone through. So this is the year where we have seen our cost reducing and revenues increasing. I'm very happy to say that we are making $7 million a quarter, which was a very good thing that we started doing it since March this year. We stopped spending money where we don't see any long-term commercial value. We don't think that any vanity metrics chasing has any value to a company like of our scale. We build real business here. So talking about now whether companies would change their attention, yeah, I mean IPO market always remains in this cycle. There are times when they are heady, they look for pure customer or GMV sort of number, which is not necessarily the revenue or profit. And then there are times when they look at pure profit or even cash generation capabilities. But in the end, these are the cycles where I do believe that companies continue to and should always focus on building the sustainable revenues, which in turn bring profit, which in turn bring the growth. So lucky thing for companies like us have been that we've lived in a cycle where disproportionate amount of money being spent on growth and disproportionate amount of resources being committed to build a total economy or a market in this country. So Paytm has invested the largest amount, I would say about 20,000 crore in this country for building mobile payments, and I'm very proud of it that we've led that as a champion, and we believe that is the continuous investment we'll do. And now is the time that we will build revenue line items and have built revenue line items, and so this will become a scalable company immediately after that.
You know, Vijay Shekhar Sharma, you're joining us from Harvard, and these days, as you know very well, there is a lot that is being said about Paytm, and there's a lot of negative news flow that's coming out. Job losses, how you're having to cut jobs, how you personally are having to spearhead a massive fundraising drive, you know, about the entire valuation, SoftBank's future, all of that. You are the founder of Paytm, and you're here on Startup Central. Share with us, share with the audience, what is Vijay Shekhar Sharma's vision for Paytm? Is the problem as bad as it's made out to be? Where is Paytm headed?
Yeah, Paytm is a payment leading to financial services company, and we will be building as many financial services. We built bank, very profitable, happy to say that. We built wealth business, incredible traction. We are in due course to build other financial services, and you're talking about in 2 to 3 years, a financial service company with large number of customers distributed using technology, and hopefully a lot of sustainable business out there.
And once again, I'm going to come back to that negative commentary that we have seen around Paytm. And I'm sure, you know, sometimes they say, they always say there's no smoke without fire. What do you have to say to your critics? What exactly is going on? What's your big message to all those that say that Paytm is overvalued?
No, I don't need to send any message to critics and naysayers. I build a business for my customers and my shareholders. Critics and naysayers stay. Thank you for being what you are. At the same point of time, we continue to make sure that what is the right for the business, and what is right for the business is expansion of customer, expansion of merchant, expansion of services, and that's what we continue to do it.
You know, when all of this is also going on, Vijay Shekhar Sharma, you are so lucky because you can directly reach out to some of the most brilliant minds on this planet and actually get the best of advice. I'm talking about from Warren Buffett to Masayoshi Son to Jack Ma. They've all invested in your dream, in your company, in you, your vision. What is the advice you're getting from all of them right now?
I think the end of the businesses are meant to have large market share. That is what Masa Sons talks about, and large profits. That's what Warren talks about, and huge impact on society. That's what Jack Ma talks about. So if you can build a business with a huge impact, large users, and large profit, you are a great company.
You know, I've just got to say it. I don't know if anybody else will say it, but you know, you can't even call it name dropping over there. That's Vijay Shekhar Sharma, clearly on first name basis with the best minds on this planet, Warren, Jack. Okay, but jokes apart, you know, Vijay Shekhar Sharma, I want to get your views on another topic, and that is I want to understand how founders like you think. You know, we said we'll talk on a festive season. We'll talk about how this Diwali season is doing, consumption is doing, and how the overall economy is doing as well. Now, we at ET Now, at the Times Network actually, have just finished an India Economic Conclave, which was dedicated to North India. And, you know, that's what I thought. I want to get your views on it. Do startups and founders like yourselves look at laggard states? Do you look at, let's say, an Uttar Pradesh or a Punjab or the laggard states? You know, we've just finished state elections as well. Do you do that and say, here's an opportunity?
No, I think India overall, and if you look at North India, is I would say a sweet spot business here right now. There is a huge amount of customer adapting technology, smartphone, mobile internet expanding, and there is a huge amount of demand, which is fundamental services, as fundamental as financial services. So it's a sweet spot business right now, I'd say that. So I do believe that this is the best time for an entrepreneur. Economy, which is $2.5 trillion, being aimed to become 2.5 incremental $5 trillion. That just gives us huge amount of opportunity. What got done in last 70 plus years is getting done in next 7 years is an extraordinary time.
Does Vijay Shekhar Sharma mentor founders, new entrepreneurs, and how does he do that?
Yes. Always been the champion of entrepreneurs, always been champions of people who are starting up, always supporting or looking forward to support as many people who build 0 to 1, the start. And I associate with them, I identify myself in them, and I'm a fan of them.
So what's your advice to them? You know, the viewers of Startup Central, also made up of entrepreneurs who are just begun, startups that may be just a couple of months old or, you know, 12 to 16 months old. What's your advice to them? What is the original unicorn, the poster boy, Paytm founder Vijay Shekhar Sharma's advice to them?
Well, I would say that these are the best time to start because you have less competition, because a lot of new people who would have been in the jobs and looking to swing, they don't do in these days. So it's a good time. If you are able to pull off in these times, now you have a immunity that can go on for a long number of years. I started in 9/11 year, the time 2001, and there was no investor for next 2 years. Look at this, where are we?
Vijay Shekhar Sharma, you know, you're joining us from Harvard. Shortly after the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has completed her debut trip as Finance Minister to the United States. It's a festive season and there's all this talk of the economy slowing down, consumption not picking up, gloom, doom, all of that. You tell me, what are people in Harvard saying? What is their perception of India? Remember, there are global problems as well. The trade war, for example, Brexit, the We Work IPO debacle, SoftBank having to reset its global vision and capital allocation. So given all of that, where does India feature? Is India still the darling?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, lucky to be in this Global Advisory Council of Harvard, and I wouldn't have ever imagined that I, who wanted to be in Ivy League school, would ever be reaching like this here. And I can say, whether here or whether everywhere when I go meet investors, India is definitely the spot they look at. Because of the trade tensions with US and China, it is very, very clear that India gets more attention than even last year it got. So right now, or otherwise, India is number one definitive destination for investments. And secondly, now the geopolitical scenario is like this, that India is the global, I would say, want to be in the India place at every industry that you talk about. So whether you are in Europe, whether you're in Asia, whether you are in US, everybody wants to learn or invest or do business in India right now. So it's a great spot to be in.
You're saying all of this at a time when you as an entrepreneur and Paytm have these massive plans for overseas. Then, you can't cherry pick. Then why are you doing that?
No, it's purely because I want to put a label that India can build the technology that can go in the world and are the world class. Typically, what we've seen is that India is identified with IT services, which is a great business that we do, but it is not because we cannot do something which is first product, first company. So this is just a individual quest. Build in India, make in India, made in India, and to the world. So that is why we are taking it to Japan, we are taking it to Canada, and in Japan we've been able to do so fantastically well. I'm very proud of and very confirmatively say this, that Indians can build technology that even Japanese take it.
My final question to you, Vijay Shekhar Sharma. How's the festive season been? Diwali, what's it looking like? Has consumption come back? This is when companies like yours are also supposed to do phenomenally well. It's an auspicious time to purchase large ticket items too. How's Diwali been for Paytm and for companies like Paytm?
I would say that first of all, if I read the newspaper and the news, there is a lot of gloom out there. But if I go back to my family, my family is an oligarch. There is a joy and excitement of celebration. So it's sort of a little confusing to me whether we are talking about a massive decline or a little bit of sentimental decline. At the same point of time, those who have it, they are enjoying it, and I wish everybody a very happy Diwali here.
And here's wishing you and the entire Paytm family a very happy Diwali from Team ET Now. Thanks so much for joining us all the way from Harvard. A promise is a promise, and that's Vijay Shekhar Sharma proving just that. And of course, there's been so much that has been said about Paytm ever since that We Work debacle, which has resulted in SoftBank having to reset its global vision. That's Vijay Shekhar Sharma being so candid and talking about the impact that it's had on startups as well as unicorns like Paytm.